Well, I guess we have to remake everything ever, so in 2006 we got a Wes Craven produced remake of his 1977 film, The Hills Have Eyes. Now you might recall I watched the original for the first time last season and just didn't get it. It was fine, but as far as something iconic, I wasn't seeing what all the fuss was about, so I was eager to see what a modern day take on it might be like. Turns out it's basically a lot like the original film. The first hour and change of Hills Have Eyes '06 is an exact retelling of the original, nearly scene for scene in many cases. A dysfunctional family, led by Ted Levine not playing a crazy person in a movie filled with crazy people, wanders off the main desert road and ends up in an accident that totals their car. This wreck is much more believable than the nonsense that caused the family to crash in the original film, by the way, so point remake. Anyway, long story short, there's mutants in them there hills, and soon the family is both split up and under siege by hideous hill people. And another point for the remake is having them be much more mutanty and feral, which is better for a story like this, to be honest. I guess what I really don't understand about this particular remake is that 20th Century Fox already has its own Hills Have Eyes-esque franchise with the Wrong Turn series. Not that I'm recommending those films either. This is just being remade thanks to name recognition, not because someone had a bold new vision for it or anything. I mean, I know companies want to make money, I understand that, but this is just needless, especially considering how much of it is rehashing the original. The third act is a little different as it veers more into Straw Dogs territory, but honestly by then I was struggling to stay awake. The Hills Have Eyes 2 from 2007 had the potential to be the most interesting of the bunch, since it's not a remake of the original sequel and therefore would be the first original one of these since 1984. Although I admit I secretly wanted it to be a remake of the original sequel because that would have been hilarious. It also had potential since it was co-written by Wes Craven himself, unlike the first remake which he only produced. All this potential is squandered almost immediately though, as the first scene has us watching a sexually assaulted woman violently birth a mutant baby, from every conceivable angle except maybe from inside the womb itself. It's straight up unnecessary. From there we meet a group of military recruits on a training mission, who then head to the hill area to deliver supplies to a team of scientists. The scientists are there to figure out exactly what's going on in those hills, based on the reports of the survivors from the first film, but they're quickly snuffed out by more crazed freaks of nature. The soldiers, heavily armed but green as hell, also find themselves being hunted and murdered. The Hills Have Eyes 2 recovered from its disgusting intro to be moderately watchable. The soldiers are okay as characters, although the script doesn't let them drop their petty grudges once the shit hits the fan, and that's just silly. So for a while I was thinking that this is probably the second best of the four movies, until the graphic rape started up, and then I pretty much bailed on it. Decent overall idea, but I just couldn't muster up the energy to care before it was all over. So, okay, I kinda tricked you guys. I really just sat through those two terrible movies in order to watch this, Jim Wynorski's 2010 movie, The Hills Have Thighs. The plot of The Hills Have Thighs involves hill women with ridiculous racks who accost a man in the desert and threaten him with violence. That is until, swerve, they have softcore sex with him instead. Which, reminder, if you've never seen softcore sex, it's like hardcore sex, but without actual sex, and about 100 times sillier. Imagine wearing about 8 layers of clothing while a stripper is hovering over your lap, pretending to have the best sex she's ever had without actually touching you. That's softcore sex. Anyway, 1 month later, two couples go in search of their missing friend.
Do you think he could still be alive out there somewhere?
If there's anyone that could survive on eating snakes and berries, it was Bill.
It's not all he was good at eating, if you know what I mean.
Sandy, you're kidding me.
That unfiltered remark actually leads to a flashback for more softcore knot banging, with the same dude no less. So sorry ladies. When that ends, the conversation resumes half a day later in an entirely different location. Man, that must have been some play-by-play there, lady. Then the Double H ladies have sex with that dude again, and after they're done, one of the couples has sex back in their hotel room. So, 25 minutes in now, and the two couples finally go look for their friend. Then this guy flashes back to someone he had an affair with. They give up the search, go back to the hotel, and then the other couple has sex. Day 2 of searching has our brave explorers look around for 12 seconds, and then the two ladies go have sex. After they wrap that up, they find their friend's wallet. And then the Double H girls have sex with each other. The couples find that someone has stolen the engine from their car, and then a hype woman for the Double H ladies shows up.
They never leave footprints.
Oh my.
I'll second that.
They all head back to her house, where she dances for them while they sleep. Then orgy? Yeah, sure, why not? Then they all wake up in their car and their engine is back. Later, there are some special effects, and a turf war breaks out between the search party and the Hill women. That, of course, ends with sex. I wish they'd called this film The Hills Have Thighs 2, and then used their flashback sequences as a parody of Wes Craven's original sequel. It's that kind of attention to detail that I'd be screaming about if I was on the set of one of these things. And that explains why I'm not on the set of one of these things. Well, that and all the restraining orders. But I get it, these are usually written in 2 days, shot in 2 days, and then on Cinemax the following Friday, but still, give me something here. Brandon Rackley is the best thing in The Hills Have Thighs because she's easily the best looking of the bunch, and her name has Rack right there in it. But I need more, a funny line, a better reference to the actual horror movies aside from the jokey title, anything. Come on, Wynorski. Look, I don't know why I do these things either, but I have to fill up time somehow.